studying in DAV High School.
This is Gayatri of class 10 studying in DAV High School. Today we are going to present an interview with environmental activist and Nobel Prize winner Wangari Maathai. Wangari Maathai was born on 1st April 1940 in a small village called Nairi in Kenya. She completed her studies in the United States and in Germany. The Nobel Committee said the prize was in recognition for her contribution to sustainable development, democracy and peace. She learned to respect the soil and its bounty from her parents. An interview with Wangari Maathai, the Nobel Prize laureate, which is prescribed by class 10 English textbook. We really very happy to present it before you. Now let us have an interview with eminent personality, environmental activist Wangari Maathai.
I am enacting as Wangari Maathai.
I am enacting as NHK radio reporter. How did you become aware of the environment?
From the time we started, we are trying to respond to the basic needs of the people in the rural areas. And the people were asking for clean drinking water, for food, for building materials, for fodder, for animals, etc. And all these things come from the land. So we knew that what the people in the rural areas were asking for had to do with the environment. They did not get those things because the environment was degraded. So from the very beginning, we understood that we have to rehabilitate the environment. So when you deforest, you cause a shortage of water and a change in rainfall patterns, and therefore people are not able to get food and water. In order for them to have a good environment that can sustain their livelihoods, it is important to have a government that accounts them, protect their forest, and that is considered about their lives.
How is peace connected to a good environment?
Many wars are fought in the world or fought over natural resources. Some wars are fought because the environment is so degraded that it is not able to support the communities, and so they fight over the little that is left. Others are fought because some people want to take a lot of resources and to control them, to keep many other people out. That is why the three themes are related like the African stool with 3 legs and a basin on which you sit. One leg is peace, the other leg is good governance, the third leg is sustainable management for resources. When you have those 3 legs, you can put the basin, which is development. If you try to balance that stool without those 3, it won't happen. We have not shared our resources equitably, but we have allowed some people, especially those in power, to acquire a lot of the expense of the majority, and we have also engaged in conflict.
What happened when you started working with the women?
Well, the first time when I said, let us plant trees, the women said they don't know how to plant trees. It became very complicated for the ordinary illiterate women. So I told them, we shall use our common sense and just do what we do with other seeds. Women work on the farms. They are the ones who plant. They are the ones who cultivate. They are the ones who produce food. So I told them, when they were to treat these tree seeds the same way they treat the other seeds of food crops, then there is no difference. I also told them to look for old broken pots even and put seeds there. They will germinate and they will know that these are the seedlings from seeds they have planted, and we also gave them plastic bags to put seedlings and to nurture them, and when they were about half a meter long, then they could go and transplant them on their farms. In the beginning it was difficult, but soon they gained confidence and became very competent foresters, so I call them foresters without diplomas.
Why do you think they responded so well to your message?
It was a need. When the women said they needed firewood and building material, we responded to that need. Plant trees, then you will have trees for firewood and for building materials. Once we had planted those trees, we saw the need for them to understand why we have to have a good governance. So it became important to give them civic education, so that they could understand how we govern ourselves, why we govern ourselves, the way we govern ourselves, why we are managing our environment, the way we are managing it, because we are dealing with the environment. So It's not the responsibility of a government or the responsibility of somebody else. It's them. It's their responsibility to rehabilitate their environment on their own land. We gave them both education in civics and also in environments. So that made them understand clearly why they should take the responsibility of protecting their environment.
What transformations did you see?
One of the bigger transformations that I saw was that the ability of an ordinary illiterate woman to get to understand and to be able to plant a tree, cut them, give herself an income, to be able to feel confident that she had done something for herself. That sense of pride, sense of dignity, that they are not begging, that they are doing things for themselves was very empowering. That transformation was very powerful. The other is the transformation of the landscape. Places where there was dust, there are no more dust. There are trees, even birds and rabbits. They came back and made the environment beautiful. The other transformation that I saw was willingness of the people, that they are fighting for their rights, to decide that they have a right on a clean, good environment, to decide that they will fight for their forest, protect their forest, and not allow corrupt leaders to take their public land.
How do you think you can influence the rest of Africa?
Our efforts will inspire other people to stop wasting their resources and their youths in wars, and instead engage in creating a peaceful environment and more peaceful states. I'm very happy that now in Africa you see new efforts ensuring that Africans engage in dialogue, that we are managing our environment. We must restore our environment and ensure that we do not fight, because we are allowing the environment, especially the land, to be degraded, and then fight over agricultural and grazing land. So I see a lot of hope in what is happening in the Somalia, what is happening in the Sudan, what is happening in the West Africa. I see a lot of African leaders encouraging each other to engage in dialogue.
What is the one thing we can do?
For me, my greatest activity is to plant a tree. I think a tree is a wonderful symbol for the environment, and when we plant a tree, we plant hope. We plant the future for ourselves, for the children and for the birds. We plant something that can last long after we are gone.
Thank you. By this we can conclude that Wangari Maathai was the woman with confidence, outspoken and uprightness. Maathai fought against land grabbing. Her awards are uncountable. Her contribution for the democracy and peace is marvelous. Maathai is one of the 100 persons in the world who have made a difference in the field of environmentalism. In her words, Maathai said that we need to broaden the understanding of peace. There can be no peace without equitable development, and there can be no development without sustainable management of the environment in a democratic and peaceful space. And she died on 25th September 2011, leaving a legacy behind. My dear friends, I want to say only one thing. In Telugu there is a quote, Vriksho Rakshite Rakshitaha, which means if we protect the trees will protect us. We are requested to plant a tree on the birthday occasions or in any other occasions which give you the immense pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.